So, guys, you're welcome to Joshua Speak. The major question now is that the midterm election in America is close, and one of the heaviest and one of the biggest organization, which was a non-profit organization that actually started a political movement by its founder Charlie Kirk, can it do the same thing it did for President Trump when they got President Trump elected last year during the election? Can it do the same thing for the Republican candidates who are going for the Senate and the Congress seats? Under the new CEO, Erica Kirk, we are about to now see if this strong organization still have the same power, effect, and impact it have under the former CEO, Charlie Kirk. It's always sad news when we heard that Charlie Kirk had passed away through the assassination plan that was carried out during his tour. It was a sad news, and after that, TPUSA, his organization that he built and founded from the ground upward, is now passing through a hard time. And under the new CEO, who is his wife, she's doing all within her grasp to keep the legacy and the memory of her late husband. For us to understand the kind of power that TPUSA wield and the kind of impact it had over young minds, we have to now understand who is the founder and what is his core mission for this organization. The founder of TPUSA was Charlie Kirk and was founded in 2012. And one of the major goals of Charlie Kirk was actually to make young people know their constitutional rights, and also to give them economic freedom, and also to allow them have idea and have knowledge of how the government is actually overreaching in their function of society. And one of the iconic things about Charlie Kirk is that Charlie Kirk actually knows how to debate properly, and not just debating, but also winning his opponent to his own coalition. Which was actually a shocking thing, because Charlie Kirk was not just interested in debating you for just debating sake, but was interested in winning you and showing you that actually his movement is also for your own benefit. With the sudden loss of the founder of TPUSA, Charlie Kirk, it was a very devastating blow to America, to the political space, and more importantly, to its organization, Turning Point USA. In this wake of this whole chaos that took place, the responsibility of the organization fell to his wife, Erica Kirk. And through this grief and through her mourning her late husband, who was the father of her child, she also has to also become a CEO and also a guiding light for his monumental organization, TPUSA. And that's why now it comes to the question that we all ask: is his wife prepared for this role? Because I do not ever think that in her whole lifetime she will be thinking that she will ever lose her husband so young. And the question also goes that, can she be able to handle such organization properly? I know that it's going to take time for everything to settle, but we are asking, does she have the skills? Does she have the same talent as Charlie Kirk to help the Republican Party win the seats in the Senate and in the Congress this midterm? Being the CEO of Turning Point USA is a massive job, and for Erica Kirk to step up to fill this job or to take this role or the space that the husband actually filled was a massive decision to make. But still, while she was grieving and while she was still mourning the loss of the father of her children, she decided to step up to keep the legacy of her husband, and also to keep the vision in which the husband have for the organization Turning Point USA. But immediately she stepped into the public space, what we saw was a drastic backlash and critics from different spheres of life. The most shocking part was this: when we were expecting the attack to come from the outside spaces, it actually came from close friend. One of our close friends of her husband, Charlie Kirk, Candice Owell, actually turned the spotlight on her and decided to shred both her integrity, her intention, and also her public image, yet by having also a replicating effect on the organization TPUSA. But one thing we've seen throughout the critics, the backlash, and every fire that Erica Kirk has come under, she is a fighter. She never gave up. She stood with the organization of her husband, and she actually began to fulfill the roles that her husband had in the organization. Also, while doing that, she was also keeping even the high connection the husband had with major politicians in the organization. But still, We still have this question. Is Erika Kirk the right person for TPUSA? Or can somebody else do better to take the organization to the next level? And we are still waiting to see. We should survive the backlash and the critics to our image and to our reputation. All we can say, time will tell. And also, the midterm election is going to prove whether TPUSA still has the kind of impact they claim to do.